The new Thor Love and Thunder trailer are here, and it brings us Christian Bale as terrifying bad guy Gorr, the God Butcher, Russell Crowe as Zeus, more Jane Foster Thor. And some deep Marvel surprises. Trailer begins with Korg voiceover. Korg explains about Thor, the god of thunder, to some alien kids. Look at the background, you can see the tree where Thor meditate. Jane Foster as Thor. There's two ways we can read their conversation about how long it has been since they've seen each other.
What's it been, like 3, 4 years?
8 years, 7 months and 6 days, give or take.
One is that Jane is just kind of over Thor. But the other, given the 5-year gap in their assumptions, is that Jane was indeed a victim of the snap, Thor's helmet. Okay, so maybe this is a reach, but given how shy these movies have been about letting Thor wear a helmet, I'm gonna go for something here. Despite these scenes being next to each other in the trailer, it's clear that Thor first seeing the other Thor wielding Mjolnir and then discovering it is Jane do not happen in the same battle. In the comics, Thor was depressed over his unworthiness to wield Mjolnir, and pined for it like a lost lover, or an addict. He so desperately wanted to be worthy again. He's even wearing his costume from the unworthy Thor era when he first sees her. Look at this shot. This shot of Jane is cool enough on its own, but let's have a look at those statues behind her. On the right we have the living tribunal, whose statue also appeared in Loki, and who was glimpsed ever so briefly in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and What If, the Watcher. On the left, though, things are a little more tricky. Up front, that does appear to be Death. As in the cosmic embodiment of death. As in, the Jodie Foster to Thanos John Hinckley Jr. in the original Infinity Gauntlet comics. Russell Crowe is Zeus. Russell Crowe is clearly going to have the time of his life in this movie, ain't he? We're still holding out hope that this movie also introduces the Marvel version of Hercules somehow. But there's one small problem here. Here is King Valkyrie, Tessa Thompson, fighting Gorr, with what appears to be Zeus' Thunderbolt. Something tells me we shouldn't get too attached to Russell Crowe's Zeus. Anyway, on to some more cheerful stuff. In this scene, Thor, Jane Valkyrie, and Korg wear outfits to enter Zeus' place. Look at the costume they wear. These same costumes we can see in this shot, probably they took from that people to enter Zeus's place. And look at this hilarious scene. You can see that Loki helmet tattoo on Thor's back. That indicates how much Thor loves Loki. Gorr the God Butcher. Now, in the comics, Gorr is every bit as intense as that impossibly metal name makes him sound. Gorr here talks about the selfishness of the gods. Why? Because Gorr is a being whose prayers were never answered, who lived a miserable, hard life, and whose family died of starvation and disease while he prayed for salvation. When his prayers were answered in the form of a powerful alien sword, he decided to take a, shall we say, proactive approach to getting the gods' attention.